Welcome back to week 11. Today we're looking at the DraftKings optimal lineups and stacks with the Daily Fantasy Cafe for NFL week 11. I'm Chris Myers at Fantasy Chill Pony on Twitter. So feel free to follow me and ask me any questions if you have any prior to kickoff or any time at the week during NBA season and whatnot. We're willing to help out. So let's get into it here. Looking back, Week 10 was a pretty big week, especially for the running backs. David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, and Zeke Elliott literally blew up. They just exploded with a crap ton of points. And the optimizer was on two of them. Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson were in most of the optimized lineups last week. So that helped a lot. A few of the other players struggled. Quarterbacks didn't have as big of weeks as expected. And a few of the wide receiver value picks were turned out not to be as much of a value as we'd hoped. So this week the lineups are looking a lot different than they did last week, and I kind of like it. The one thing to consider this week is a chalk play is going to no doubt be Martellus Bennett. He's probably going to be one of the highest owned players in fantasy this week, with Gronkowski being a scratch and likely not playing. There's a lot of high-scoring games as well. 3 games right around 50 or over 50 points. You got the Titans and Colts, the Patriots at the Niners, and the Washington and versus Green Bay. All those games have lines of over 50, and that could be changing still throughout the day. But for now, that's where we're at with Vegas lines. And so those 3 games are games that we're going to want to probably try to capitalize on in the high-scoring affairs. So let's start getting into it here. Alright, so for the cash lineup, the optimizer built this one here. It's projected for 164 points. It's got Tom Brady, Gore, Le'Veon Bell, Eddie Royal, A.J. Green, Tyreek Hill, Martellus Bennett, Theo Riddick, and the Chiefs defense. This lineup looks pretty good, pretty diverse here. You got the running back, Le'Veon Bell, who's in a dream matchup against Cleveland. No one can humanly complain about that pick. And the price is, where you'd expect Le'Veon Bell to be, 8.8K on DK. So he's in a dream matchup this week. Tom Brady, also in a very, very good matchup against the 49ers. He'll be looking to get stuff going in a big way right away this week. So he's a good quarterback pick. They have Martellus Bennett as expected in there at the tight end position. In GPP maybe you'd want to pivot away from Bennett, but I think in cash games you just have to plug him in at this point. He's the best value and just highest projection, highest floor of any tight end probably this week. So the other picks, Frank Gore. We just kind of know what he does. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but he gets the touches, he gets the red zone carries, and this is one of the games that are projected to be really high scoring in the 50s. So there should be opportunity there for Frank Gore this week. So I like that pick to pair up with Le'Veon Bell. A.J. Green, we just know what he does. He can shred any defense. Doesn't matter. Buffalo is a little tighter on the wide receivers, but it's still a pretty darn good matchup for him. So he should have a really big week this week, and he's the top receiving option for us. Tyreek Hill and Eddie Royal are the other 2 options. Royal, he's an interesting pick, but it kind of makes sense when you're looking at, the Bears and their current receiving situation. Alshon Jeffrey getting suspended for 4 games. Those targets and receptions that gotta go somewhere. So Eddie Royal's kind of a sneaky, even cheaper pick than his teammate Cameron Meredith. But we've seen it, he can score touchdowns and make some big plays. So I kind of like that pick. Tyreek Hill, just becoming kind of a possession guy, big guy in Kansas City as of late. So I like that pick too, and his price still hasn't gone up an extreme amount yet at 4,500. So, I can get with that. Theo Riddick, he's now a week rested, and the week before was his first week back off of injury. I think he's going to be moving much better, feeling a lot better, and become a bigger part of that offense once again. before he got hurt, he was catching like 8 to 9 balls out of the backfield a game. That's just free points, and anything he does with it is butter. So, 5,100, I'm just fine with Theo Riddick being my third running back in this lineup. So that lineup looks pretty good. The cash lineup, I'm kind of digging on that one. The GPP lineup looks like it pulled in actually quite a bit different. In the past, it's been very similar to the cash lineups, aside from a few like receivers or running back switches. But this one, they are actually going with the true GPP quarterback here in Blake Bortles. Bortles is pretty dirt cheap, 5,400, and he probably should be. He's had some real duds and some really rough games. And he's been getting it done in fantasy. He cranked out a 32.68 performance on DK against Tennessee and 22.48 in Kansas City. Last week he didn't look good at all. He had 19.7 DraftKings points still. So, it's not huge, but he did pretty well, all things considered, after his abysmal start last week. So, this week he's going up against Detroit, who's just kind of right in the middle of the field. They'll be throwing a lot. He'll get his points. So I kind of like it. It's a very risky play, but like I said in GPP, sometimes that's kind of what you're looking for. And I don't think he's going to be very highly owned, so that makes him another nice pick for this lineup. The only other difference is it looks like our LeGarrette Blount and Terrell Pryor are in this one. Blount, you just saw what he did last week. You just never know with New England, but I doubt he's going to get that many touchdowns again this week, but they will be in the red zone a lot. This is another one of those 50-point projected games. New England's supposed to be getting 31 of those points. So Blount will be getting some touchdowns. How many? Who knows? I guess it's possible Brady could throw four touchdowns, and then Blount doesn't get anything. But you never know. But I think Blount will be utilized in some way, especially in the second half if we're looking at a blowout, which is very likely here. So I like Blount to be paired along with Bell and Riddick. And then Terrell Pryor, he's the other difference. He's still been getting targeted quite a bit. The possessions and or receptions and yardage just hasn't been coming with. He hasn't broke 50 yards over the last couple weeks. But Pittsburgh's secondary is pretty bad. Actually, they're really bad. So Terrell Pryor should be able to get plenty of catches and hopefully get a big play or two off, maybe even a touchdown this week. So that's an interesting play, and I kind of like it. That this trio of receivers is pretty good for GPP. And we'll wrap it up here with the stack. The GPP stack lineup, very similar. The only difference in this one is Stephon Diggs and the Vikings. Diggs, he's been an absolute monster the last 3 weeks with the receptions. He's just become the focal point of the Vikings offense. They really don't have much else. They're doing those quick drops, quick passes, and Diggs is just eating them up. This week, it's definitely, I think, a risky play. Patrick Peterson's going to be all over him. Arians all but declared that just out in the open. So it's no surprise. And Diggs is going to be in for a tough matchup. Last year when they met each other, Peterson held him to 2 catches for 13 yards. So there's definitely risk here with Diggs. If Diggs can still get it done and get enough receptions, he can seriously do damage. The optimizer here has him projected at 21.2 points. I think that's a little high, but you never know. He's been looking really good this year, and last year was his rookie year, so that's other things to consider there. Otherwise, I did toss in another option here for Minnesota. Actually, I might be looking at Adam Thielen in GPP. He's going to be dirt cheap, and like I said, if Peterson is covering Diggs, we've seen him, not Ponder, oh my goodness, Christian Ponder, oh, nightmares. Sorry, Sam Bradford has been throwing to Adam Thielen plenty along with Stephon Diggs. So, Thielen's a nice little sneaky option, who I may be plugging in even instead of Diggs. And then I can boost up Eddie Royal to someone else as well in this lineup. Not saying not to play DAGs, just saying I'm not 100% sure I would this week. But otherwise, that's your lineups. That's your DraftKings optimal stacks um, for the week. So with that, I'll wish you all good luck. Let's go get some victories and maybe some cash in our pockets in DFS. All right, good luck.